Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Breaking news on Gyokeres from Fabrizio Romano. We'll get to that, and then also the latest on Nico Williams, Nusa from Leipzig, and also the latest on Zinchenko and Kiwior's futures at Arsenal. So let's get straight into it and let's talk about Gyokeres. We talked about him a lot, especially on yesterday's live show, about all the drama that is going on between him and Sporting. But this is what Fabrizio has just reported. Viktor Gyökeres' priority is to join Arsenal this summer, despite calls from Manchester United in the recent weeks. Gyökeres always an option amid Šeško talks with no deal sealed so far. Arsenal keep assessing situation. United remain keen but believe deal now unlikely. So Fabrizio has just confirmed that Gyökeres' priority is to join Arsenal this summer transfer window. That is crazy. That is very, very good to hear that he actually wants us ahead of his former manager at Man United and any other team that wants him. Now it's literally up to us. Now, yesterday we discussed about all the drama going on in terms of the money. They say they're going to allow him to leave for 67 million pounds this transfer window. Had a gentleman's agreement, but according to reports from Portugal, they're saying that now Sporting are saying, actually, no, we're not going to sell you for that 67 million pounds. We want close to 85 million pounds for you. That's the only way we are going to sell you. And Gyokeres has not been happy with that. Gyokeres himself posted on his Instagram story the other day and said, whatever is going on outside there, I'll come to say the truth one day, basically implying that everything that the Sporting president and the Sporting board have been saying about him and the disagreement and all of that, it's all a lie, and that he is in the right and they're in the wrong. Basically, they lied all about what they had agreed on last season. So we've all thought that you're going to sign Šeško. Speaking for myself, I definitely thought we were going to sign Šeško. I said 80% we're going to sign Šeško, 20% Gyokeres, because of many different factors. We wanted Šeško last transfer window. Even in January, we were kind of trying to push for Šeško to join us as early as possible, but it didn't happen because Leipzig at that point, they were still trying to fight for Champions League football in the league, Europa League football in the league. They eventually didn't get it. And the fact that they eventually didn't get it, it was looking very likely that Leipzig were just going to let Šeško go, and Šeško would be happy to leave. Šeško wants to join Arsenal. Leipzig need that money because they're not in European football, and we've been told that Leipzig want Arsenal to do that deal as quickly as possible so that they can use that money elsewhere. But now it's looking like Arsenal that also really, really want Gyokeres. Again, we've been told that Arteta really wants Šeško, but Bata really wants Gyokeres. And on top of that, we've been told that majority of the coaching staff and the board prefer Šeško to Gyokeres because of the age, because of the overall financial package. Gyokeres would want more in terms of wages. Šeško would be lower, and then transfer fee, even if Šeško would be higher, all the agent fees and everything. If you combine everything, basically Šeško would be a better package. That's what we've been told. And also, obviously, the age, very important from what we've been told, that they want a younger player. But I don't think anyone really knows what the truth is. Yesterday, I had a couple of theories. Is it that Arsenal really wants Gyokeres as the first option, and we've just been using Šeško's name as a way to push Sporting to lower the fee for Gyokeres? Or is it the other way around? Do Arsenal really want Šeško, and we are just using Gyokeres as a way to, force Leipzig to drop the price for Šeško, and we can go for him because that's a player we've been linked to since last season? And is it the fact that one of the coaches or the board or Barca, one of them has changed their mind and have decided to go for the other striker? Or have they noticed right now, after really being linked with Šeško, that, hey, you know what? Actually, Gyokeres might end up leaving for like 60 million. Should we just wait a little bit and try to get Gyokeres? We never know. Maybe they really wanted Šeško, but because Gyokeres' money was a lot, but now they've realized that Gyokeres' money will be cheaper. They prefer Gyokeres to Šeško as a player. Who knows? It's a lot of possible conclusions to that, a lot of different theories to that. No one really knows what the story is. But as of today, Fabrizio has confirmed that Viktor Gyökeres' priority is to join Arsenal. So that is something that we know. Gyökeres wants to join Arsenal. But do Arsenal really want Gyökeres, or do we want Šeško first? Now, from what we've been told, it's like 75-80 million for both of them to really convince Sporting and Leipzig, one of them. but we thought it was going to be like around 60 million for Šeško and maybe 67 million for Gyökeres, around that. I don't think there's going to be a big difference in terms of the gap, in terms of the fee, or whichever teams both of them end up at. I don't think the money that they're going to go for, it's going to be a lot of difference. Also, they have to look at the, in terms of the overall package, the wages, how much you're going to pay either player, and also installments. Will Sporting allow installments? Will Leipzig allow installments? All of that. Now, for me, Gyökeres has always been my first option ever since last season when we were being linked to Gyökeres and Isaac. I said I prefer Gyökeres at Arsenal, and he went ahead and had another unbelievable season, an unforgettable season for him and for Sporting. They went on to win the league, and he's basically won the league for them. He's absolutely incredible. That is a striker majority of the Arsenal fans want. At the beginning of the transfer window, we did a poll, and around 70% wanted Gyökeres. Now, there is still a few people who want Šeško because of different reasons. Some people feel like Šeško fits our playing style better. Some people love the fact that he's younger than Gyökeres. Some people feel like Gyökeres scoring those goals in Portugal doesn't mean as much as Šeško scoring those goals in Germany. Whatever. I don't think it's easy to get 80 goal contributions or 100 goals in 2 years, whichever country you're playing in. I think Portugal is still a top league. If it was that easy, there would have been like another 8, 9, 10 players would have already done 100 goals in 2 years if it was that easy playing in Portugal. So that's still an unbelievable record. It's not that he's only doing it in the league. He's doing it for his country, for Sweden. He's doing it in the Champions League for Sporting. He's doing it in other competitions where he's playing against teams that are not Portuguese based. So for me, I'd be very happy if we ended up getting Gyökeres. I mean, it came to a point where the last week or so I've been feeling, you know what, just get me a striker. Either of them, just bring them, because we really need a striker. We don't want to end up without any of them. And Gyökeres goes to United, and then Šeško ends up at Liverpool, and then we end up without any striker. I was at a point where I thought, listen, just get for me any of them. I'm happy to get any of them. Absolutely no problem. But who we are going to get, still absolutely no idea. But I'll keep on saying this every time I talk about Šeško and Gyökeres. Whoever we get, it has to work. It has to work because we are very desperate. So that is Fabrizio, but we have more news on Gyökeres, and this is it from Record Portugal. Arsenal will submit a new offer at the beginning of the week for Viktor Gyökeres. Bid will be closer to meeting their demands, but will still be below 70 million mark. So are we going to make an offer for around 65, 60 million euros for him? I'd say maybe 65 million euros. Yesterday, when you're talking about Gyökeres, you're told that he made a bid of around 55 million plus 10 million in add-ons. Maybe now that will not be add-ons. Maybe you'll just straight up say 65 million, around there. So whichever offer we make, I still feel like it's going to be low. I even think even if you give them that 70 million, they would still say no. But from what I'm hearing, also other rumors saying that the agent is going to get money every time Sporting reject any bid of above 50 million or something like that. That would be crazy, because if they reject like 6-7 bids of 50 million, 55 million, 58 million, the agent is will just keep on pocketing the money. So Sporting in a tough situation where they have to sell Gyökeres as soon as possible, even if the bid is 55 million, not like 78 million that they want. Who knows, man? So it's a tricky situation. They've fallen out right now. Gyökeres is talking about Sporting. Sporting president is talking about Gyökeres and saying, "No, we never say that," or nothing like that. So it's going to be interesting, though. So Gyökeres still has a chance to join Arsenal somehow. I thought that would be over because we were really pushing for Šeško over the last 5-6 days, and interesting, though. Let's see who you're going to get. But that's the latest on our striker situation. More news on from today. Let's go to Nico Williams. The only thing that seems clear regarding Nico Williams' future is that he is desperate to sign for another team this summer. Williams has already told his Bilbao teammates that he will not be at the club next season. So Nico Williams does want to leave. Nico Williams does want to leave Bilbao. But does he really want to join? I've never really felt like Nico Williams really wants to move outside of Spain, let alone coming to England and joining Arsenal. I've always felt like you'd want to go to a Barcelona ever since last year, but you were told Barcelona might not have enough finances to get him. But, it could be any other team. I feel like if he came to England, he would join Arsenal, but I don't know if he wants to join England. He might want to stay in Spain. He might want to go to Bayern, who also linked to him. He's been high on our list since last season. Even recently, been told by a couple of journalists that Nico Williams is still a player that Arsenal really, really wants, despite, being mentioned as wanting Rodrigo, being mentioned as, wanting players like Semenyo from Bournemouth. We still really, really want Nico Williams ever since last year. But what has possibly held us back is the wages. Basically, Nico Williams joining Arsenal, he wants to be the highest paid player at Arsenal. I think Rodrigo might be the same case. So I don't think Arsenal will do that. I don't think Nico Williams will ask for 350,000 and then Arsenal give it to him. I don't think so. So that particular deal, I feel like the only way we would get Nico Williams is if the wages drop down. So that is a difficult deal for me to see Arsenal doing. And this as well, not that one. Where has it gone? Have I lost it? Anyway, there was another one for Nico Williams. If I can quickly find it, forgive me for that. It was somewhere there. It was saved there, but right before you record, it just literally disappears. But let's see if we can quickly find it. This was from Kike Marine. Let's look for the other one for Nico Williams, the other news update for Nico Williams. So yeah, got it. So from Sports Witness, they say Arsenal and Bayern Munich have knocked on the door of Nico Williams, with both clubs willing to pay his 62 million euros release clause and offer him a high contract to convince him to join. Williams wants to know Barcelona's plan before deciding the next step. So the moment you hear a player wants to wait for a different team first and all that, that is not going to be a deal that is going to happen in June. If you're going to get a player like this, you're talking about August or something. So it's going to be really difficult, especially if Arsenal want to get all their transfer business done before the preseason. You can't go for players like Nico Williams unless you just go and you pay that money and you pay all those wages right away. And I doubt Arsenal are going to do that. But do I think, what are the chances of Nico Williams joining Arsenal? According to me, I would say 30%. I'm not confident on that. And I'm actually high in confidence of Rodrigo joining Arsenal than Nico Williams, despite Rodrigo definitely costing more. So Rodrigo, I would say there's like a 60% chance, but Nico Williams, I'd say like a 30% chance, very, very low. Nusa, we talked about him yesterday. Someone actually commented and said, can we go for Nusa? And literally the same night, there was news about Nusa that came out. So that was interesting. Arsenal are considering Antonio Nusa as another potential signing from RB Leipzig during talks for Benjamin Šeško. Multiple insiders in the industry have confirmed Arsenal's interest. However, it is not yet clear if Nusa, valued at 45 million euros, is priority target. It depends even the relationship between us and Leipzig after the Šeško debacle. Are they going to work with Arsenal again this transfer window if they feel like we've played some tricks on them or whatever, however they feel? But Nusa, I've watched him play a few times for Norway recently. He's got a very good goal against Italy. Basically plays in the forward line with Haaland, Solot, and Odegaard, and he does very, very well on that left wing. I haven't really watched much of him in the club. I've actually watched more of him for country than club. Not many players get to do that, but for him, I've actually watched him more for Norway than his club. But he's still very young, so he doesn't have that experience that we're looking for on the left wing. You might get a player who's going to take on players. You might get a more, exciting player. But if you're looking for experience and goals and assists and all that, someone who's done it for a few years, Nusa is very, very young. So compared to the names that Arsenal fans want, the Rodrigos and Nico Williams and Rafa Leao's and Lookmans, Nusa is not in that level yet. And it would cost us up to touch the £3 million around that. But as I said, he's not really priority target, which is fair enough. I don't think he should be. Nusa should be one of those players. If we get Rodrigo and then we want another winger, then we can get someone like a Nusa. But you didn't really get a striker and then Nusa's the winger. I don't think that would be enough. I feel like we need a striker, a very, very experienced winger. And then a third signing, I was happy even to get Sane as the third signing, or someone like a Rodgers as the third signing as well. The players like Rodgers and Eze would be top of that list first. But if the money is the problem to get another signing, another forward signing, then you can go for players like Nusa. If it costs like 30 million, then I'd be happy that it feels like the third forward signing, but not the first or second. First has to be one of those two strikers, and then winger, Rodrigo, Nico Williams, Lookman, one of those, even Leao, no problem with that. Now, departures. According to Gazzetta Italia, Milan want both Kiwior and Zinchenko, not just one of them. They want both of them. Now, we did a poll. Let me give you guys the results for whether Kiwior should stay or he should leave. So the poll was, is Kiwior a must keep, or should we sell Kiwior for 15 to 25 million, I think it was, or should we sell him for 25 to 35, or should we sell him if he's 35 million plus? Surprisingly, a lot of people say they don't even care about how much money we get. He has to stay. 73% said must keep. 14% said, okay, we can sell him if it's for 35 million plus, understandable. 7% said we can sell him if it's for around 30 million, and then 6% said we can sell him for around 25 million. So a lot of people do rate Kiwior, especially after those performances after Gabriel got injured. There was a few comments still saying, let's sell him for that 30 million and get a younger defender or whatever, but it's not easy getting a player like Kiwior who's going to be, he's an international player playing for his country every single game. Even same as Zinchenko, he plays for his country every game. So they're experienced international players. Kiwior is always available. The last 3 seasons, he's covered 3 different positions. This guy covered for Saliba when he got injured 3 seasons ago. And then he covered for left back, a position for Zinchenko when Zinchenko and someone else was in that position got injured, Tomiyasu, 2 seasons ago. And then now he's covered for Gabriel, and Gabriel has gotten injured in the left center back position. You're not going to get a player like that. But understandably for him, looking at it, he can be like, hey, I don't play regularly. I want to go and start somewhere. Napoli want me as a starting defender there. They're looking exciting there. Lukaku and De Bruyne and McTominay and all these guys have just won a league. I want to go there. That would be understandable as well. And he's played in Italy before too. But if he does want to stay, I think you have to keep him, because Tini has already left. If you let Zinchenko leave and Kiwior also leave, then again, I feel like you need 2 defenders, because Tomiyasu cannot depend on him. He's out until December, January. You cannot count him. Timber has been picking up so many injuries. Obviously, he's just coming back from an ACL. I think we overplayed him last season. On top of that, there's Gabriel who's coming back from surgery. Same with Timber coming back from an operation as well. Saliba was injured in the last game of the season, didn't play, missed the French international games recently. So we have a lot of defenders who are injured. Not even talking about Calafio, who's been injured like 4 or 5 different times. So to just be on the safe side, I think we do need enough defenders, because what if we start next season again and then 2 of our defenders are injured again? We don't want a situation where we find ourselves playing Thomas Partey in defense again and all that. No, Lewis Skelly is obviously there, but he's an actual midfielder, but he's done well at left back. So for me, Zinchenko, I'm happy to get around 25, 30 million if you can get that. And then Kiwior definitely be trying to keep for sure. That is just my opinion. But AC Milan want both of them, which is quite interesting. So let me know what you make of that. Gyokeres, Nico Williams, Nusa, Zeni, and Kiwior. Do you think we should be really pushing to sign Nico Williams, or you're not bothered at all? We can go for someone else like a Rodrigo or Lookman. Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.